So I'm excited for this church leader tool that today we're going to talk a little bit about creation care. In the Delaware-Maryland Synod at the 2017 Synod Assembly, there was a motion on the floor that then was approved to focus more on creation care in the life of our congregations. And I listened to that motion and I thought, you know what? I need to have some representatives of that team as a church leader tool to help us learn about some ways we can do that. So I have this morning Laura Heller and Tormod Svensson, who are part of our Synod Creation Care Ministry, to share with us a little bit about that. So welcome to Laura and Tormod.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So would you guys share a little bit about what your team does and maybe even some practical ideas that congregations can begin to live out the spirit of that resolution?
Tormod, did you want me to start?
Sure. That works.
Okay. I'll go over briefly. I mean, so our Creation Care Ministry is a group we're all volunteers. I have a call as a Creation Care Ministry coordinator. It's a Synod call. It's a part-time non-stipendiary call. So I try to coordinate the activities of our group. We have, I think, about 70 people who are currently on our communication distribution, probably a core of about 10 to 15 who are very active in what we do. So one of the things we want to do is to be able to share worship materials with congregations. We're a resource. So if congregations want to hear the message of caring for creation, we can sort of direct them to scripture that focuses on that, prayers that are available. We have sermons that have already been developed. We can provide sermon starters. We also have people available who can preach the word for that. We like to teach congregations, reach out to all of our members in the Delaware-Maryland Synod about how they can become advocates for environmental legislation. So that's local, state, and federal level. Our team has been very involved with actually within the state of Maryland, meeting with legislators. And also, a lot of people want to do something, but they don't really know how to do it. So we enable them for doing that. We have a lot of information about water and energy sustainability. Tormod's the expert on that, and we'll provide some details on that. We also we got funding this year and hopefully next year from the Chesapeake Bay Trust to do outreach work. So we have outreach workshops where we talk to congregations about caring for creation, what that means, and also funding to plant trees. So for the celebration of the 500-year anniversary of the Reformation, we want to plant 500 trees throughout our synod. So we're working with congregations who are interested in participating on that. We also got funding through ELCA for doing community gardens and edible landscaping. We have, it's called the Fruit of the Spirit project for that. And we're also working with congregations if they want to establish their own creation care ministry. So if a congregation says, well, we really want to have, a green team or whatever they want to call it, can you help us, tell us what to do, how to set that up? We advise them on that. We partner with other organizations like Lutherans Restoring Creation, which is the national ELCA group. Also locally with Interfaith Partners for the Chesapeake and Interfaith Power and Light. So that's kind of an overall snapshot of what we do.
Sounds like lots of opportunities to partner there. One of the things I will definitely do is put your contact information as part of the resources for this church leader tool so that folks can contact you about any of those opportunities.
Thank you.
Sure. Of course, creation care is so often, I think, becomes kind of a side note for many congregations. And to help move beyond that, well, the first resolved in the resolution on ecological justice, the first resolved is actually that the Delaware-Maryland Synod urged congregations to exemplify institutional responsibility by practicing energy conservation. purchasing energy efficient items and investing in renewable energy. And my background before I became a pastor about 5 years ago was actually in plumbing and HVAC work. And sustainability and energy and water conservation has been close to my heart for many, many years. So I just wanted to briefly talk about a few things and how I could possibly be a resource for people in the synod. Not sure if folks know this, but worldwide buildings count for about 40% of energy usage and 40% of the CO2 that's put out in the atmosphere. And energy conservation and water conservation also makes sense from an economic point of view, and it becomes often something that people want to do because it saves money. And, many congregations are struggling. So when we talk about saving money and also being part of preserving the environment, it's usually a win-win situation. Now, when we talk about water savings, there are all kinds of levels of that. Very easy things we can do, both at home and at church. We can replace the aerators. That's the little screen on the faucet. They are very inexpensive. The old aerators would let through 3.5 to 5 gallons sometimes per minute. And many of the new aerators go as low as half a gallon per minute. So, of course, in restrooms and so forth, that can make a huge difference. Think about shower heads. Same thing, water-saving shower heads in your homes. And if you have such things at church, easy to do, easy to replace. And of course, you can also get into bigger things such as water-saving toilets and urinals. But that's often coupled with when you get into a bigger project such as remodeling and so forth. But just do know and keep that in mind that, there is equipment today that is a lot more efficient in all kinds of ways. And then we talk about heating and air conditioning, which is usually, that's typically the largest user of energy in our homes and in our churches. And again, there are small things we can do. Probably one of the easiest things to do that I have found through the years is to replace the thermostats. Make sure that the areas are cooled or heated only when they need to be cooled or heated. And think about the temperature settings as well. Programmable thermostats are inexpensive and easy to install. And even just that can make a huge difference. And of course, again, you can get into a lot of money if you decide that you want to get rid of your old fossil fuel unit, such as an oil furnace or even a gas-fired unit. That's when you're getting into more money. But again, if the old unit is inefficient and old and you're thinking about something new, well, think about a heat pump. Heat pumps are very efficient anymore, and they heat and cool your home or church in very, very efficient ways. Or you might even want to think about geothermal heat, where you're actually heating your home, pulling energy from the soil itself, and that also works as a cooling. So I just wanted to let you know that I can be a resource in all kinds of ways. My congregation is in the Baltimore area, so I'm more than willing to visit congregations that are not too awfully far away, and also I can do an audit of sorts. I can walk through and give you some ideas of what you might be able to do that's going to serve your needs.
Wow, both of you have given lots of great resources, both practical, in an individual congregation and also through the Creation Care Ministry. So thank you so much for listing those. I think I will create a document that just will list all those different things that you've listed. That'll be as one of the resources as well. And I hope that congregations are in contact with you to go a little bit deeper into this. Anything you guys want to say in terms of wrap-up?
I guess one of my parting comments would be we can always use more folks on the team. And even if you're just curious about what this is all about, we always appreciate people's input. And even if you're just able to be part of our team every now and then, we'd love to have more people on board.
Excellent. Any parting thoughts from you, Laura?
Again, just, what we're trying to do is, obviously, as the resolution says, we're a resource for congregations. So they have, a desire to become more active in this, as they should. we're here for them. We want to do whatever we can to support them. We're always looking for, folks to participate in our ministry as well. So that's something that we would like to let folks know. People participate as they can, whatever their gifts are. But, we just want to let congregations know that this is something that we really feel like they need to embrace, and we're there for them. We're there to assist with that.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much for your ministry, both Laura and Tormod.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Take care. God bless.